Hey guys, it's Rachel. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to I Miss Taylor Swift O'Clock, and this is just in my Swiftie blood, okay? We need to discuss TS12, and yes, I said TS12. Everybody is looking to the right for Rep TV, and I'm looking over here to the left because I purely think that TS12 is coming next. I am a TS12 truther, okay? I just think that Taylor has been so inspired. Taylor has been writing her butt off, I bet, because the woman never stops. And I have 4 pages, embarrassingly enough. Actually, it's not embarrassing because Taylor Swift said, you should never apologize for being excited over things. So I'm taking her advice. And also, it's just, again, in my Swiftie blood. Now, I am the first one, I want to preface this to be like, when people are like, Rep TV's coming, Rep TV's coming, I think Taylor Swift is going to move tomorrow because 3, 2, 1, and like all those things, like I start clowning when very apparent things happen, okay? For instance, Grammy Day last year when her profile picture changed from a different color, I was very on edge, okay? That sent me bat signals from Taylor Swift going, oh shit, here we go. Oh, here we go again. Like, there are things that Taylor does that are very apparent Easter eggs to me, and there have been some, and there's been a lot of talk online, and I want to throw in my 2 cents. So, here we go. Here's my 12 cents about TS12, okay? Alright. So, in this essay, I will describe why TS12 is coming before Rep TV. Okay. So, why this is important to me, okay? We have clowned about album themes, titles, things in the past ever since I was very small, okay? We thought 1989 was going to be called Roses. We thought that Reputation was going to come out around the time of the solar eclipse because we thought because Taylor was darking out her social medias, deleting everything, we thought that, oh boy, she's gonna do something with the solar eclipse. Taylor also told us fans that TS7's title was in the Me music video. And what did I think? I thought Kaleidoscope. I was a Kaleidoscope truther. And it ended up being right in our face. Love her, okay? Taylor's Easter eggs are very, very apparent. She wants us to see them. A lot of the times when people are like clowning this, that, or the other, like it's fun to an extent. But also I feel like Taylor is just very, hey, I want you to notice this. And there was one a couple weeks ago that was very apparent, and even this past weekend. So I wanted to go ahead and bring forth the evidence. Okay. So when this began, I think that Taylor really started teasing TS12 at the Grammys, okay? I think that this really stemmed when she was at the Grammys and so for Tortured Poets Department, she had a very Tortured Poets Department era outfit. The dress, the gloves, the choker, everything was very TS11. And we found out that that style was what TS11 was going to be. And I really feel like Taylor's Grammy look for this year with the rubies, we'll get into that, and her earrings, the thigh chain, the dress, I just feel like she introduced the new color of the TS12 era, but I also feel like she left some Easter eggs, and I want to talk about those, and they're all in this paper, don't you worry. When Taylor showed up to the Grammys this year, who are you? I'm you, but less tortured, Taylor Nation said. 1 year ago today, our sleepless nights were created, and Taylor's tortured masterpiece was announced. We've come so far since. And that just felt like a little sus to me, and not from, oh, like, it was the reading of, who are you? I'm you, but less tortured. And it was the 2 diverse styles and Taylor's very similar poses. And Taylor just looks incredible. And she always does, okay? She always does. But that girl is radiant and glowing right now, okay? So yeah, it needed to be pointed out. So that one, when I immediately saw that, I remember going, whoa, okay? And I immediately remember going, whoa, okay, because that Grammy look was my favorite red carpet look. maybe to date, okay? She looked absolutely phenomenal. And there is also some things within that outfit that we need to take note of, okay? So I want to say that we're going to go in order here of my list. I think that she's trying to make it obvious that we need to steer in the direction of TS12 and not Rep TV at the moment. Of course, Rep TV is coming. So is Taylor Swift Taylor's version. But I honestly think that TS12 is next. Taylor's Grammy outfit was definitely noteworthy, looks-wise and Easter egg-wise, in my opinion, okay? Hear me out challenge. There was a lot of red, but specifically ruby red. And notably in her earrings, there are 12 stones of ruby. Also, her leg chain that said T had ruby red stones in it, okay? Now, what do we know about ruby? Well, I'm going to also educate you because I did a deep dive into this gemstone, okay? I did a dive into this stone. But what we do know is ruby red, when you think of maybe the color ruby, you think of maybe ruby red slippers. There's no place like home. There's no place like home, as Dorothy says in Wizard of Oz. And I'm just going to say it right now. This just actually popped in my head as I'm filming this. Where does that originate out of? Kansas City. Not Kansas City, but it has the word Kansas in it, so I'm going to take it and run, okay? Okay. So, then last weekend, Taylor put 12 D's in her Instagram story when talking about Selena's new album. And I put on here, why not 13 for real? I've been working on this list. Why not 13 for real? Like, it's very Taylor to like count them and be like, oh my god, like I'm gonna put 13 because 13 is my lucky number. She used to say years ago that she liked to wrote M in like award shows because she felt like it was lucky because M is the 13th letter in the alphabet. Like, she is very strategic with 13. So why not 13 and why 12 is my burning question. And this was a hot topic last weekend. And I said, you know what? Y'all are right. I'm gonna start going nuts with y'all. Okay, so one thing about Taylor, like I said, she's very obvious with her Easter eggs, like the lover sign, as I cited in the Me music video. And Taylor's fashion, she has been wearing rubies a lot lately. She has been wearing them to the Super Bowl last year. She had rubies on last year at the Super Bowl. And the stones on her Grammy necklaces are rubies. And why am I dwelling on rubies? Taylor Swift loves a theme. Let's talk about rubies. Rubies are amongst the 12 precious stones. 12, okay? Stick with me. And think about what else has 12 in it. The months of the year. Hold that thought. And they represent passion, love, protection, leadership, okay? A zest for life. What made me think about that, especially with Taylor recently, is, i.e., a direct quote from Taylor's Time Person of the Year article in 2023. Life is short, have adventures. Me locking myself away in my house for a lot of years, I'll never get that time back. I'm more trusting now than I was 6 years ago. So, with that, that makes me think of Taylor. Taylor loves a theme. She loves deepness when she is talking about something, okay? She is talking about, like, being bombarded with love in the form of an alien abduction and down bad. Okay, this woman, like, the way she writes is so poetic and so gorgeously well done. Nobody is writing like Taylor, and I could say that with my full chest, not just as a Swiftie, but as a human being. If you listen to Taylor Swift's music, you know how she is, okay? And Taylor does love a theme, and it's just, I'm just gonna say it, like, she does, and I've seen that, and I've loved that over the years. She's nostalgic, she's sentimental, and sentimental is definitely something that I feel coming with TS12. So she has that zest for life. She is so in love right now, and I'm praying with everything in me that she always remains this happy, this full of life, and I'm so freaking happy for her. I'm so happy for her that she has this abundance of love, and she has this opportunity after the Eras Tour to be with those that she loves and just experience life. No cameras, unless it's her personal one that she's taking photos with, you know, to create memories. but she is just having this time for herself, okay? And I just feel like Taylor's been so inspired, and which is why I think that we have something here, okay? But I'm also just so excited to see what's next in terms of her creativity, because she always does make it so deep and so meaningful and so mind-blowingly strategic and put together. And oh my god, this means this. Like, I know I sound crazy reading these facts about rubies right now, but honestly, it's not that crazy when it comes to Taylor Swift, okay? It's really not. Okay, so traditionally on 15th anniversaries, rubies are given as a gift. I didn't know this until I looked it up, but I'm gonna sound nuts, but stick with me, because I've clocked Taylor's tea over being deep and meaningful over the years. And yes, people are going to go, oh my god, they're counting the D's. They're counting D's in her post to Selena Gomez. Keep in mind, Taylor is very, like I said, she's very strategic with it. She knows what she's doing. So with the 15, there have been 11 eras. We've got Taylor Swift, Fearless, Speak Now, Red, 1989, Rep, Lover, Folklore, Evermore, Midnights, Tortured Poets Department. And +4, we've got the re-recordings for Fearless, Red, Speak Now, and 1989. So 11 + 4 is 15. So that gives us another fact about rubies. And if this album has nothing to do with rubies, well, at least it was fun clowning, right? But I really do feel like it's very abundantly clear that Taylor has been wearing a lot of rubies and putting the number 12 in our face a lot, okay? So let's discuss ruby's color. Rubies can range from a deep, rich red to a rose red. Now, the red that Taylor had in her Grammys outfit was more of a rose red, but when exposed to sunlight, the UV rays make the stone glow. So when Taylor is feeling happy in her life and fulfilled in her life and radiant and has that zest for life, as we discussed, it'll make her glow from inside. She is bejeweled, if you will, okay? And she's glowing. It's a fact. So ruby gemstones can also have a shade of orange, pink, purple, directly from the Farmer's Almanac, if you would like to go to their website, like I did. And this is very important to me because I've been stuck on this. I have been thinking about this. When she says, see you next era, okay, look at the colors in the background. This is the page that she wrote the prologue to the Eras Tour book on, okay? See you next era. What colors? Orange, pink, and purple. Yes, this is from the Miss Americana, big flags, poofy, whatever you'd like to call them, from the intro to the Eras Tour. But the See You Next Era in that, knowing that rubies can also have a shade of orange, pink, or purple, is just something that's a little ominous to me, okay? Like, I really just feel like it's gonna have something to do with it. And it might honestly just end up being the color of it. Like, it might just end up being like the overall color of it. I don't know how it's gonna put into play, but I feel like rubies are something we need to be paying attention to right now when it comes to Miss Taylor. So here we go. Rubies are the birthstone for July. And Taylor might just try to be sending us bat signals for, hey, this is when the next era is coming, okay? Like I just said, the ruby is the gemstone. It's the birthstone for July. So this is gonna sound a little clownish, but the rubies that I gave up is a lyric from Maroon. And Taylor loved playing Maroon on the Eras Tour. And it became a running joke. Oh my god, she's either gonna play Maroon or You're on Your Own, Kid, as a surprise song. But the rubies that I gave up, to me, that lyric to me means knowing what we know about the vitality and the leadership and the love and the passion that comes with the symbolic nature of a ruby could symbolize to me personally that she gave up all this love and abundance of love and what could have been this overflowing of love for something less than. And she's like, baby love, I think I've been a little bit too kind. Okay, and she's done with it. And this is her strength, this is her love, this is her passion, and she is just at a place in her life where everything just feels right, okay? This is like why I'm throwing this in there, because I feel like if we look into that lyric and how Taylor has applied the lyric in her past writing in Midnights, in her 10th studio album, I just feel like it's very important and noteworthy, okay? I would like to say Taylor played Maroon 10 times on the Eras tour, and it's track 2 on Midnights, and that equals 12. And yes, I sound like those people on TikTok saying that Taylor breathed a certain way on March 1st, and that's why Rep is coming on 3/21, okay? Like, I understand that, like, that probably has zero correlation, but more realistically, what I think about Taylor maybe playing Maroon over and over again, maybe she was in fact having that start of a spark and been like, oh my god, this is such a good concept for my next body of work. Or maybe she just wrote a song, or maybe it has nothing to do with it. But if it does, I think it's a possibility that Taylor played Maroon multiple times on the Eras tour as a little nod to herself, being like, oh, this is a good path, or oh, we're really onto something here. And maybe she was just really fixated on maybe Maroon because of that lyric, and she was like, oh my gosh, that ties to that, or this ties to that in her head, that maybe we will or maybe we won't find out at a later date. But she might have just like had it fresh on her mind. And I think it was just kind of like that. I don't think it was like, oh, she played it 10 times and she was thinking that it's track 2 on Midnights and that equals 12. I don't necessarily think that, but I think Taylor consciously maybe was playing Maroon because maybe something sparked her. Maybe she wrote a lyric or something like that. And same with her accessories. Like, I think that maybe she just kind of started gravitating towards rubies. Maybe she was given one as a gift one time and that sparked her, or something. Like, I don't think that there's a lot to look into when it comes to her starting to wear rubies until like now, when it's very, very apparent, if that makes sense. Like, I don't think at first she was doing it consciously, but maybe now she's doing it as a conscious effort, being like, hey, let's look into the meaning of this and look at the 12 stones of ruby on my earrings at the Grammys. I just feel like those kind of things are when we need to be paying attention to it. We need to revisit the fact that rubies are the birthstone of July, okay? This is where we need to circle back to at this very moment. After the storm, something was born on the 4th of July is a lyric from Endgame, okay? And I wanna be your endgame. Who plays the game? Anyways, so I wrote on here, after the storm, something was born in July. I left out the 4th of July part because I don't think, you know, now that I say that, the 4th of July is on a Friday this year. And I know that because I was looking at the holidays earlier and how they fall. Okay, T. Again, rubies are the birthstone in July. Now let me go more into depth in the situation. So let me point this out. In her Eras tour of the century speech, she wore a snake necklace that had ruby red eyes, and Taylor had a ton of time to reflect on her music, old projects, albums, everything during Eras. And maybe she remembered that something was born on the 4th of July lyric from Endgame, and maybe she wanted to somehow tie it to an upcoming release to July. Okay, now I will say, when Taylor popped out in that that snake necklace, it did make me clown for Rep TV next. However, people started to zoom in on the eyes, and people have said online, those are ruby too. Those are also ruby. And the Grammys, other accessories that she's worn have been ruby. So I think that was an Easter egg for Rep TV, but I think she knows how bad we want it. And she also called the Vault Tracks Fire. So I'm not sure. I could be completely wrong. And this is why it's all fun and games here, okay? But personally, I just think, in my head, I'm thinking that the ruby red eyes, interesting, okay? So let me talk about the birth in July, okay? Why I'm like fixated on that personally. So let me say this from Taylor's Time Person of the Year article in 2023. This all started when Travis very adorably put me on blast on his podcast. We started hanging out right after. The infamous New Heights episode where Travis talked about Taylor and going to see the Kansas City show. And Jason said, you went to the Taylor Swift concert. And Travis said, yeah. And I made her a bracelet. And Jason was like, you made her a bracelet? And he said, yeah, if you're up on Taylor Swift concerts, they make friendship bracelets. And I made Taylor Swift a bracelet with my number on it. And Jason said, your number is an 87 or your phone number? And Travis said, you know which one. And he said that she had to save her voice for the songs that she sings. And he said, or at least she didn't want to meet me. Well, he had a huge storm coming, okay? All right. Taylor is very sentimental. And that episode came out on July 26, 2023. Now, obviously, she saw it. She commented in her article about this. And I would just want to say, if I could calculate a date in my little noggin for release, I would say maybe the new album was going to come out on July 25th, because that's the closest Friday to July 26th. Side notes. A lot of artists are releasing new music right now. Ariana Grande, Miley Cyrus, Selena Gomez, Ed Sheeran, spanning from now to May. And this gives them a chance to push out music and have it on the charts before Taylor's inevitable return. Also, just throwing this out here, this doesn't correlate to anything that I have said for July per se, but the only Friday the 13th in 2025 is in June. If she wanted to have an album release on a 13, finally, okay? Taylor also usually announces albums about 2-ish months in advance. Not in the case of Folklore and Evermore, or even the Tortured Poets Department, but Midnights was announced in August at the VMAs. She put it out in October. Speak Now, Taylor's version, was almost 2 months to the day. May 5th announcement in Nashville, released July 7th. 1989, 8/9 announcement, October 27th release. So usually it's in the ballpark around 2 months. So with that being said, if it is July, we could be hearing something in May. Or maybe a little sooner. Who knows? I just miss her. The end is exactly what I wrote on here. But maybe if it's June, we hear something next month. I'm not sure, but I do smell new music coming from Taylor. Because the thing is, I respect her so deeply, and even if nothing comes out this year, I'm going to obviously be here sharing my love for Taylor because I respect her as a human. Okay, this is purely just fun. I'm not the type I've seen online, and it irks me every time I see it, where people are like, oh, but she hasn't done anything, and she didn't go to the iHeart Awards, and I just think it's crazy. Well, she just did 149 shows spanning from March 2023 to December 2024, and she deserves a rest, okay? She absolutely deserves a rest. This is me being goofy. This is me missing her and putting my time into maybe investigate. I learned a lot about a stone, okay? If it has nothing to do with the correlation of the colors, her wearing 12 on her earlobe at the Grammys, or if it has nothing to do with, you know, the correlation of it being a July birthstone, it may not have anything to do with it. But you know what? It was fun for me to do this, okay? And disclosure, to paraphrase a great philosopher, Taylor Swift, holder of honorary doctorate from NYU, this is all fun and games because somebody is losing their mind. I think about the Eras Tour every single day. I am not even trying to exaggerate, but I think about the Eras Tour and what it meant to me every single day. No joke, okay? That tour meant so much to me. I loved getting to celebrate her whole entire career. I have loved her since I was 8, and I just am so excited for whatever's next. that I'm just like chomping at the bit. Like, she makes me so excited. She provides me with so much serotonin. And maybe I am being goofy here, but I honestly feel like I might be onto something slightly. And, you know, I'm not the only one who has noticed the rubies. And it's just a little sus with the 12 Ds instead of the 13. And it's just because Taylor is so intentional with her use of 13. Like, why not 13? But yeah, you guys, that is my thought. You don't have to agree with me. You can call me I'm insane, whatever you would like to call me. But I am just a girl. I'm just a Swiftie who misses Taylor and thought this was fun and wanted to do a little investigating. So that's my dissertation for you. But I love you guys so much. Thank you guys for listening to me. And oh my god, I guess I'm an Easter egg because as I'm looking at this, I was wearing red when I met her and she feels like home. Okay, that's a joke. I love you guys so much. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this video entertained you in some way, and I sincerely hope I see you, yes you, in the next one, whatever era we end up in. Bye guys.